If this is the first time you've ever heard about any of these problems with franchising, you might be wondering why. Why hasn't anyone ever talked about this before? If this problem is so big, why isn't it already in the New York Times? There is a very, very simple answer to that question. And that answer lies in the power difference between the franchisor and the franchisee. The franchisee gets recruited into this franchise, gets sold onto this great idea and this brilliant, I assume they all think, business that they are going to be able to build with the support of the franchisor, and comes to the point in time where the franchisee feels enough trust for the franchisor to sign that dangerous contract I was telling you about. Once that dangerous contract is signed, things change. And I will talk more about how things change and what goes on and what, the significance of the little details in the way that franchisees are recruited, are given the confidence that they need in order to sign one of these dangerous contracts in future videos. But for now, what you need to know is that after these contracts are signed, franchisees are silenced, because if they say anything negative about the franchisor, if they speak, I know I'm here on this video speaking, but if they speak, in general, they're in trouble with the franchisor. So what you have is a lot of people who are being victimized by a very extreme power difference who are being silent because they are afraid. They are afraid to come out and talk about what's happening because if they do, they might get sued. Some of these franchise contracts even give the franchisors the right to take over their business. Some of them give the franchisors the right to take their homes. Actually, that would be almost all of them. When you sign a franchise agreement, don't sign a franchise agreement. If you're thinking about signing a franchise agreement and you're watching this, don't do it. Reform first. When you sign a franchise agreement, you're asked to sign a personal guarantee. And that means that if you don't succeed with your business, the franchise has the right to take everything that you have. Many of these contracts ask you to commit to not only your franchise fee, but also to future royalties. So if for some reason you don't succeed with this franchise, you owe your franchisor future royalties, and your house is on the line because you signed a personal guarantee. So people go into this business with the excitement and the idea that they're going to do something and be part of this big project that's new for them, be able to be in charge of their own life, be in business for themselves but not by themselves, right? That's the slogan. And then they find out that they're actually in a situation where they're working with a franchisor who has a lot more power than they do, who's not especially incentivized to keep any promises that were made before the contract was signed, or even that are in the contract, because of course the franchisor can win in court because they have more money, who is basically threatening their home and their livelihood and everything that they have if they don't succeed with the franchise. So people are quiet. Guess what? It's really frightening to be sued. I know all about that. It's scary. You're getting sued and you're getting attacked by someone who has a lot more power than you, a lot more money than you, who you know is not honest at this point in time because obviously you trusted them before you signed the contract and then you didn't trust them after you signed the contract, and here you are in this position where they have this extreme power over you using the court system and you're stuck. So why are franchisees being quiet? Because they're scared. Because they're intimidated, because they're in dangerous contracts and they can't get out of those contracts, and because everything they have is on the line, because they signed a personal guarantee. Now, what other business investment in the United States requires you to risk everything? Everything. There isn't one. And what other business investment in the United States requires a person to risk everything while also taking a position in a very unpowerful relationship with the franchisor, where that person is completely dependent on the goodwill of the franchisor and the honesty of the franchisor to provide what the franchisor said that the franchisor would provide. No other investment exists like that. So we have a situation in which we have a lot of people who are scared, whose homes and livelihoods and families are on the line, who came to the franchisors for help and with excitement that they would get to be part of the American economy and move into the realm of business ownership for themselves, who are now quietly suffering, knowing that the consequences for speaking could be a lawsuit and losing their home. So, again, if you're thinking about buying a franchise, don't do it. Now's not the time. The United States needs to clean this up first. If you've already purchased a franchise and you're afraid, I understand. Please contact your senator. I'm not asking anyone to speak if it's not safe for you to speak. Please take care of yourself. We also need recognition of what's happened to us and what's going on in the United States and help from people who really care. Because I don't believe for a second that the politicians on the right or the left want this corrupt franchise system to keep going and taking advantage of American citizens who are just trying to fulfill the American dream, throwing them out on the street in many cases. I'll tell you more about that later. I don't think that's what anyone wants. I think that they don't know. And of course they don't know because we can't speak. And I know we can't speak because of the way that this situation has really minimized our power and put us in this place where we're terrified. But if there's ever going to be a solution to this problem, we need to speak. We do. Again, please contact your senator. This does not have to be this way. People care. People know. We'll know. People will know when we speak and when we talk. This can be cleaned up.